This is the 2nd of January 2022. It's the second day in my Train Everyday program that I'm trying to complete for this year. And it's the afternoon. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I had a shift this morning, so I worked from 7 till 3:30. Went home after work. Had some wheat picks and a little bit of biltong. Rode my bicycle to the gym. It's about a 5-minute ride. And it gives my legs a good warm up. I actually quite enjoy riding my bike a lot. It's like a different method of working your legs rather than running and then your normal squats, leg presses, leg extensions, leg curls, and all that you do at the gym. So this is a 5-10 minute ride to the gym. As you sort of see me here, I'm warming up my legs, so I'm going to do some squats. But this 5 to 10 minute ride to the gym sort of helps me activate my legs a little bit, activate my glutes a little bit. This is my second stretch that I'm going through. I did a stretch at home before, but unfortunately my GoPro cut out. This is the first time I've brought it back. First time I've used it in a couple of years. So I'm still getting the hang of it. So I did turn off a couple of times and I bumped it, so just bear with me. Look, I do a couple of stretches. I like to open up the groin. I like to open up the hips. Make sure my hip flexors are firing nice and well. So I usually just do a few bodyweight squats and then sort of squat deep and sort of stretch out my legs, roll my legs around a little bit. And then more of your conventional ones, like stretching your quads, stretching your hammies, touching your toes, things like that. Then I'll proceed to get a bar, and I'll just do a couple movements with them. But I like to be warm, and I think stretching is something that is definitely underrated. And look, I'm in my 20s, and I'm not at that age where you're considered to be bulletproof. I think when you're sort of 26, 27, 25, 26, 27, you're at that age where your body is not really growing anymore and you're considered bulletproof. I think in rugby players especially, you see all these people getting ACL injuries, MCL injuries, shoulders, tearing hamstrings. They're all doing it before the age of sort of 25, 26, 27. And I think that's why, I think for most athletes, people say, oh, look, the prime's probably from, your late 20s, 28 until your early 30s. So maybe, 28 to 32, 33, 34. So prime, that's when your body's set. If you've set a good foundation and if you've trained hard and you've been healthy and all your habits are set while you're young and you can build upon that in your 20s, I think towards the end of your 20s and into your early 30s, I think that's where you reap the rewards from it. You have a strong base to go from. So that's why I like to spend a good 15, 20 minutes warming up first and just making sure I've got my movements right. So I do some squats at the bar here, and I just look to open up my hips and my groin, just making sure my movement's fine, making sure I feel good in the movement. I think one key factor that sometimes we try and almost blissfully or ignorantly try not to take into consideration is sometimes when a lift is not feeling good and you keep pushing for it anyway, you go, nah, I'm going to bang out this bench press, I'm going to do 2 plates or whatever, even though my shoulder's a bit sore, I'm going to do it. And then bam, you've torn a pec or you've blown a shoulder. So I think one of the key things in warming up is trying to understand and, get your muscle memory working and get your body geared into doing the movements you're about to do. And really spending time on that and realizing, look, in your warm-up, if this movement's not going well, if my squat is not going well, if my deadlift is not going well, if my bench press is not going well, maybe I should do something else today. Maybe I should train some muscles, maybe associated in that lift, or go completely the opposite direction. And then spend some time at the end of my session really stretching on these areas, or massaging these areas, or going home and using a foam roller or a massage gun or something to get it right for the next day. I'm a firm believer in that. Yes, you push yourself in the gym, you should push yourself always, but you should not push yourself into an injury. I'm very big on that. And as someone who's grown up enjoying fitness and playing a lot of sport and seeing a lot of athletes push themselves into injuries, I'm very aware of that. And I try to be hypersensitive about it and really get a feel for my body in the warm up first before I go into any of these movements. So like you see here, I've done a few squats, You can do a few cleans with some presses. This workout for me, it's it's an after work workout. I'm already a bit tired. It's my first gym workout of my week, so I'm trying to sort of wake my body up and get it prepared for the week of lifting. So I'm going to try and do a lot of explosive movements, sort of low repetitions, explosive movements, but nothing too heavy. Get something to get my heart rate up and work my muscles a little bit. And I'm not doing this workout so I'm going to be completely sore tomorrow. I'm doing this so that tomorrow and then the workouts throughout the week will benefit from this. I'm sort of priming my central nervous system through a series of explosive movements, getting it ready for my week. So I do have some benefits of this. I'm not very strong. I only weigh 70 kilos. So what's it, like 155 pounds. So I'm not super strong, which is something I'm working on, and that's why I'm going to the gym to build strength. And these sort of movements, I believe, will help me with that, and also with injury prevention, and definitely for my running as well. I'm really into my running. I enjoy my running. I think it's something that gets said too often without a lot of facts behind it, but I think it's something that gets thrown around a lot, in the running community especially. But a lot of people go, I run every day, but I don't go to the gym. You ask them, why don't you go to the gym? They go, I don't want to get too big and I don't want my cardio to suffer. They go, you look at bodybuilders. Bodybuilders can't run. I go, yeah, well, that may be, but some people, I know quite a lot of people that just run and they don't do any strength training. And I've talked to them about this, and their understanding is, look, I think if I pack on too much muscle, it's going to use up too much oxygen, and then I will be at a deficit in my VO2 max when I'm running. And look, there's probably a little bit of truth to that. Like, you don't see bodybuilders winning marathons. You don't see overly muscular guys winning marathons. You see these very skinny, lean athletes, light on their feet. Not a high BMI. They're the ones that winning marathons. So I get that. But outside of being a good runner and having a good VO2 maxes, you should have some level of strength and muscular endurance. And I think one of the few ways you'll get that is from weightlifting. Body weight exercises as well, for sure. You can pump out a lot of volume with that, but I think short, sharp, compound movements with explosiveness really engaging your central nervous system and engaging your body in these compound movements, I believe, definitely helps your endurance, and also your how prone you are to injury. And I was reading a couple articles a few days ago stating the exact same thing. So I think it used an example of someone who's a competitive sailor that does squats. And they go, sailing. Why are you going to do weights if you're a competitive sailor? Don't you want to focus on technique? And I don't know much about sailing, but the article used this as an example, and it said this professional sailor does squats. We did this study with professional sailors, and we found that when they did squats or compound movements like squats and deadlifts, improved the movements used in sailing and the musculature used for sailing. So I imagine there'd be quite a lot of back and arms, quite a lot of grip strength, and it improved these areas. Whilst also giving a good quad leg and glute strength. And this is because when you do these heavier compound movements, you get a natural increase in testosterone, and then you get this associated muscle growth in not really deficit areas, but minute areas, muscles that aren't used as much. You get this associated growth in all these minor muscles as well. So not only say if you're doing a squat, not only do your quads get stronger and your glutes get stronger, but your traps will get stronger, and there's this increase in testosterone. So all your other muscles will get some sort of benefit as well out of these big compound movements. That's not saying that only do compound movements and don't train any other muscles. Of course, you're going to train things. You're going to want to do your push day, your pull day, or if you're doing gym bro days, you're going to want to do your chest and back and tries, legs on a separate day, whatever. But I firmly believe that these compound movements help me in my running, and I definitely notice it as well, especially after doing squats. And squats is something I admittedly haven't been very consistent on. I haven't been very consistent with my squats. However, I notice when I do them, I fatigue later in my runs. So say if I'm running a 7k run like I did the other day, it takes me about 2k's to get into it, and then from 2 to 5k's, I'm quite strong. I'm really strong. I'm in the groove. I feel good. And then sort of that 5 to 6 and 6 to 7k's, I start fading away quite bad. I notice that if I do a couple weeks of squats, maybe squat twice a week, so you've probably got 4 sessions of squatting and legs and, doing other exercises as well, I definitely notice that my legs will take longer to tire. So in that 6th and 7th K, and I can see it. I have a Garmin watch. It does my tracking. I can see it that my cadence, the speed at which my feet are turning over and hitting the ground, isn't dropping off as much as when I'm not training legs. That's why I want to do this train every day thing, because on my days off, I'll usually neglect the gym over running. I'll usually pick running over the gym most times, because for me it's more enjoyable. Like I don't get me wrong, I do enjoy lifting weights, but sometimes it can get a little bit boring. And you go to the gym, and like gyms get busy during the day. You might not be able to get on the equipment you want. It gets a little bit frustrating and it gets a bit annoying. Whereas running, I can go running wherever. And if a road's closed or somewhere else is closed, look, great, I can go run down another road or run in a park or do a trail run or something. It doesn't affect me too much. And that's probably today why I went to the squat rack, to be honest. I walked in the gym and I saw the rack was open and I went, beautiful, I'm going straight there. As soon as I walked in the door, I went straight to the rack and started warming up in the rack, because, man, at my gym, it's just so hard to get sometimes. And look, today's a Sunday. It's just after New Year's, so not a lot of people are in the gym. But man, sometimes it's just hard to get. And you can spend an hour at the gym looking at the rack, and someone will still be on it. So I got to the rack today, and I basically did my rack workout and everything I sort of missed out on as well. So you'll see me do a few shoulder raises and a few loo raises, and things like that, just to work the back and the tops of the shoulders a little bit. I'd say shoulders are definitely my worst deficit when coming to the gym. So that's sort of what I was aiming for. But yeah, like I said, getting the body primed and getting ready to use those movements, because I will be doing heavier lifts in those movements throughout the week. But back to this running and weightlifting. I think I'll link them down in the description as well, because they're a decent read, and if you can get onto them, great. If not, I might link some websites where someone else talks about it. Adding weights into your routine if you're a runner, lifting weights 2 to 3 times a week is probably realistic for most people, and a lot of data suggests that it's the most optimum for most people as well, especially with helping your musculature endurance and priming your nervous system as well for the task. So yeah, there's a couple studies I'll link in the description that link running to boosting endurance, athletic endurance. I think there's a couple that link to marathons and half marathons, and one that links to cycling. So yeah, feel free to check it out. Yeah, today this felt good. These movements felt good, and this is probably one of the days where normally I wouldn't go to the gym. It started with a late shift on New Year's Eve, finished at 9:30 at night. New Year's Day I started at 7 in the morning, 7 till 3. Today is 2nd of January, I was 7 till 3. So normally at this stage in my working week, I'm pretty tired. Like, I'm pretty damn tired. Morning shifts kill me. Like, I can wake up in the morning and go for a run if I'm on a day off early. I could do that 5-6 o'clock. But getting up for work it drains me, and usually mornings are the busiest shift for me as well. I'll be running around, and I'll tell myself I'll go to the gym, and then I'll get home and I'll prioritize the rest. And I'll prioritize the sleep, because I'm a shift worker, and sometimes you just prioritize sleep because you're just so damn tired. So today was probably one of those days, especially yesterday after getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go for a run. Today would have been one of those days where I would have probably just gone, nah, I'm not going to train today. I'm glad I did. I feel really good after it. I still had energy when I got home, but I definitely felt tired in the key areas, especially lifting off the rack like this as well. I can sort of do like half a Romanian deadlift, into the clean and then into the press. I think that's what it's called. then it sort of, you know, it sort of just gets a little bit of tension in my back and at the top of my hamstrings as well, gets them warm and sort of gets my back ready for squats. So yeah, look, I love these movements. Shoulders I'm definitely quite weak at, so it was good just to get a nice solid workout on my shoulders. But as I'm reading through this and as I'm looking at the video, I think a little bit got cut out. Maybe the camera stopped or something, because I did a couple more sets with 5 aside on the bar with some presses just to round it out, and then just I pressed the bar at the end to round it out after lifting those 10 kilos either side. So yeah, look, I think I'll leave it here. So yeah, cheers, and I'll see you tomorrow.